Welcome to Self-Healing Networks with Ansible and F5 in our third use case from the event. In this use case, we're going to focus on a network failure that we're going to simulate between the F5 VIP and the backend web servers by disrupting the network connection and the network connectivity. We're going to simulate this using a playbook. Typically, this would be from a regular failure or, some accidental configuration changes, etc. Just to quickly cover the flow of the lab, we have our Nagios monitoring server plugged into StackStorm, which is going to kick off all the API calls and bot integrations into Slack and Ansible Tower. Here we're going to verify that the website is up. We're going to look at the network configuration. We can see the interfaces and the neighbors are online. And now we're going to kick off the job. So we're going to use a trigger command here in Slack, fail network. This is going to shoot off a note into StackStorm. Here we look at the VIP. And StackStorm is going to trigger an API call off the tower to kick off this template job that we've set up, specifically around the fail network playbook. So we can see our StackStorm bot here updating the channel. So we can think of it as some ChatOps feedback here. If we go into Tower now, we can see the job kicking off. What this is going to do, it's going to kill the front-end network configuration between the Cisco and the Juniper, effectively making the web servers inaccessible from the F5. Now we can show from a Cisco point of view all the neighbor relationships going down, the interfaces dropping. Right, we have no neighbors now. The only interface that's up is the management interface. So the front end and the back end network are both down, simulated by this failed network playbook here that we've run. We're going to now hop over to the F5 and look at the status of the virtual server. Once the network playbook or network fail playbook is complete, we can see here that our website is already inaccessible. All right, the playbook here, we're waiting for the finish of the execution. Now the playbook is done. All right, so effectively all our interfaces that are responsible for dynamic routing and connectivity within the lab environment for the app are offline. Take a look at the virtual server in the F5. We can see the status is now down. The backend web servers are unreachable, so the VIP is actually offline. We'll no longer serve any traffic. We can see our web page is timing out. We're going to have a look back at our network operations channel here, and keep an eye on the StackStorm bot. What we're going to simulate here is self-healing network. Right, so we've detected a failure. We have an event-driven and monitoring automation in place to say, okay, we're looking at the status of the network. If it changes, do this. Right, so we've recognized that we've simulated the network failure. The F5 is offline. In this case, we're going to run our entire network reconfiguration workflow job, which comprises of the network and application playbooks to stand up the entire environment. With the Ansible being idempotent, we don't have to worry about everything getting reconfigured. Only things that do not match the declarative state of the playbooks will get reconfigured. In a real-world environment, we may do self-healing around smaller tasks or reconfiguring a single device or a set of devices or a location. But for the purposes of demonstration here and highlighting self-healing without any administrator intervention, we wanted to show that the simulation and the reconfiguration of the entire lab to a known working state where the app was fully functional. So we can see the Cisco reconfiguration from the network standpoint here, bringing up the front end and the back end networks, as well as the OSPF configuration for all the neighbors. We can see on the Cisco side some of the stuff on the console with the OSPF neighbors coming back up, the interfaces coming up. On the Juniper side, configuring the interfaces, reconfiguring OSPF. And then finally, as part of the network playbook, we will reconfigure the F5 side. So the F5 completion here. Right, VLANs, everything are back online. So this portion of the network piece is done. Now we're going to move on to the second part of the workflow, which is standing up the app again. Right? The application was never impacted because we did simulated a network failure here. So this entire playbook will not actually change any configuration. We'll look back at our bot here. Right? We'll check our virtual server on the F5. Notice it's up again. The network connectivity has been restored, and the F5 can now hit the backend web servers to bring the pool online. All right, we see the idempotency here. Everything is already reconfigured because we never made any changes here. Right on the F5 side, we're making sure everything's stood up again. Let's check the website. The dashboard's back online. Right, we have our bot telling us from a ChatOps perspective that everything looks good. The Ansible jobs are done, and we have a reconfigured lab to the known working state.